Tonight, still grounded.
We do not want to be here.
Air Canada flight attendants hold firm. Planes stay put.
This has been devastating for our customers.
And more Waterloo Region travelers.
We can't make any decisions on our own right now because we're at their mercy.
It's very scary for us. We're all losing sleep.
Get caught off guard. Gunfire in Cambridge.
This will be the 12th shooting incident in Waterloo Region this year.
What police found when they were called to this neighborhood early today. A daycare reopens.
Our public health inspector went yesterday, performed a thorough investigation.
After a scare involving a rabid bat.
We didn't find any other bats.
The inspection and the plan.
My first priority is the safety of the children.
To move forward from an unnerving ordeal. Good evening. We begin with developing news on the Air Canada situation, and there is a lot to catch you up on tonight. Flight attendants refusing to return to work again today, even as the Labour Relations Board deems their strike illegal. The airline now delaying its plans to get planes back in the air until at least 4 p.m. tomorrow. CTV's Heather Wright starts us off at Pearson Airport.
For the third straight day, Air Canada flight attendants are on the pavement rather than in the skies, defying orders to return to work.
And if it means folks like me going to jail, then so be it. If it means our union being fined, then so be it.
The Canada Industrial Relations Board ordered the roughly 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants to return to work yesterday, after the federal jobs minister asked the Labour Board to intervene just hours into the strike.
When the government came in and tried to stop our strike 12 hours after we started, we decided that that was not enough to put pressure on Air Canada to come back to the table. That's all we want. Air Canada, come back to the table.
At issue, wages and unpaid work. Flight attendants are only paid for the hours they work in the air, which doesn't include boarding and other on-the-ground duties. The airline has offered a pay increase of 17.2% over 4 years, which the company's CEO calls an excellent offer.
That will result in our flight attendants being the best compensated flight attendants in Canada, bar none.
But the union says that increase doesn't account for inflation over the last decade.
Starting flight attendants now are making $1,900 a month in an area where rent is $2,000.
The job action has left roughly 500,000 passengers stranded, many unsure when they will be able to get home.
I'm supposed to start a job on Wednesday. That's not going to happen.
Today, the Prime Minister weighed in, calling the impasse disappointing.
I urge both parties to resolve this as quickly as possible, and the Minister will have more to say. Minister Hyde will have more to say later.
The union is challenging the back-to-work order in court, so it's unclear how much longer this strike might last. Some estimating it is costing the airline about $60 million a day. Heather Wright, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
We are hearing from more Waterloo Region travelers who were caught up in this, some of them stuck overseas, others suddenly grounded here at home. One family also raising concerns about a young girl who's traveling back to Canada from Europe alone. CTV's Alexandra Hollick spoke with her grandmother today and joins us now with more on some of these stories. Alexandra.
Yes, Tony, and while Marie Lewis says her granddaughter's Air Canada flight from Paris to Toronto isn't cancelled yet, she says she is anxious and worried the 14-year-old will be left stranded all by herself.
She's scared, and I don't like that.
Marie Lewis swipes through photos of her granddaughter. It's the closest Lewis can get as she waits to see whether the 14-year-old will make it back to Kitchener later this week.
It's very scary for us. We're all losing sleep.
Her granddaughter is set to fly with Air Canada from Paris to Toronto by herself. So far, her trip hasn't been cancelled, but the airline has grounded hundreds of flights due to the ongoing labor dispute.
We've checked into looking at other flights to get her back just in case Air Canada, does whatever they decide they're going to do. And it's going to be over $3,000 for a one-way ticket just to get her back.
Lewis says she's reached out to Air Canada about her granddaughter's options traveling as an unaccompanied minor, but she hasn't had much luck.
They're not even going to entertain me. And now when you have a 14-year-old who is flying back by themselves, that's not acceptable.
Lewis isn't the only one airing her grievances.
The airport is not helping you out?
At the region of Waterloo International Airport, the D'Souza family is left with few options. They were supposed to be en route to Dublin today when their flight got cancelled at the last minute.
Does it make sense to still go? Or should we cancel and do something else? But we don't know. We can't make any decisions on our own right now because we're at their mercy.
On the other side of the ocean, we checked back in with Denise Marchant and her sister, who CTV News first spoke with on Friday. They've been rebooked on another airline after Air Canada cancelled their flight from Scotland to Toronto before the strike even began.
They finally got us flights out for Tuesday because when we were looking at flights to even book ourselves, each flight was charging over $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 just to get home.
The pair from Kitchener originally had trouble finding flights home because the last leg of their trip involved a shuttle bus to YKF.
We no longer have the Air Canada shuttle bus to take us back to Kitchener, so we've had to contact family to pick us up.
The Air Canada shuttle bus to Toronto's Pearson Airport is still running out of YKF despite the cancellations, since travelers booked with any airline can also buy a bus ticket to YYZ. And many of the people I spoke with today say they support flight attendants fighting for better wages. However, they wish the airline would have better communication with passengers left in limbo. Tony?
Okay, CTV's Alexandra Hollick on this evolving situation. Alexandra, thank you. And also impacted by the strike are some cyclists from London trying to get overseas for a World Championship event. As CTV's Brent Lale tells us, their frantic effort to find a backup plan paid off, and they managed to get there just in time.
It's been a long week, for sure.
With Air Canada planes grounded, Canada's U20 cycling team had to improvise its travel plans just to make the World Championships in the Netherlands. That squad includes 3 St. Thomas athletes.
We had to start to think outside the box and pivot our plan and come up with different solutions, with the flight out of Montreal to Amsterdam being canceled.
In what became a scenario similar to a John Candy movie, the team and coaches packed up and drove 5 hours south.
We found 2 willing drivers, 2 15-passenger vans, and grabbed one of our Cycling Canada trailers, and we packed it to the gills. I don't think we could have fit another bike box in it, and we were quickly on our way down to Boston.
While they were en route, their staff in Ottawa were frantically looking for available flights to Amsterdam.
Delta had the available seats, which was important, and then also, more importantly, the available room for all of our equipment. We traveled with 32 bike boxes, and they're not small, they're not hard to get around, and airlines sometimes struggle to take that much luggage. So fortunately, they were able to fit us in on, I think, less than 24 hours notice. So
after hours of travel, the team has arrived and will be ready to compete.
We're all relieved today to get to the velodrome and unpack and have all of our equipment and see the velodrome, and we'll be training tomorrow, getting ready for racing.
They'll worry in the coming days about how they'll get home should the strike continue. Brent Lale, CTV News.
Okay, time for a first check on the weather on this Monday evening. Let's head over to Karis Map, filling in for Alex tonight. Good to see you.
Nice to see you always, Tony.
This is my kind of summer day.
Me
I mean,
too.
I've been waiting for a day where the air feels fresh. The thing is, it almost felt cool out there today because of how humid it had been.
That's what I'm saying. Especially compared to last week, we saw some, heat waves and things like that. This week, when I left the house this morning, it was a nice crisp morning and the sun was shining. That was the biggest thing. When you see those cooler temperatures, you expect maybe some overcast and things like that, but it was a sunny day, not too many clouds in the sky, beautiful, and we're seeing that right here on the satellite radar. Still right now, very similar story, clear skies, beautiful day. There's still some time. Sun's not setting for a few more hours, so if you have plans, go outside, do it now, because as you can see, that storm that's going over Green Bay right now, it's going to make its way over to us. So I would say take advantage of the time that you have right now. Looking at current temperatures, 21 degrees. The nice thing, no humidity. Also feeling like 21, which is a huge change from last week. So yes, now's the time. Beautiful outside, sun's still shining. And as I mentioned, that storm that's currently in the Green Bay area. It's going to make its way to us. By Wednesday at 6 p.m., Waterloo region is going to see about 8 millimeters of rain falling. Not too much, but it's going to fall pretty quickly and pretty intensely. Places like London, more like 12 millimeters, but if you're north of us in Owen Sound, only getting 3. So I would say 5 to 10 millimeters in southwestern Ontario over the next couple of days.
Okay, Karis, we'll get the story from you later. Thank you so much. Gunfire rang out in the middle of the night in a neighborhood in Cambridge. Police showing up to find a townhome on Park Avenue was hit. Nobody was inside or hurt. CTV's Heather Senerin just back from Cambridge. Heather, police were on the scene for several hours earlier today.
They left around 2 p.m., Tony. I spoke to several people who live in the area who didn't want to appear on camera, but they tell me they are shocked it happened in their neighborhood, one they say is usually quiet and peaceful.
It's not something residents in this Cambridge neighborhood expected to wake up to. Police tape and cruisers lining Park Avenue after shots rang out around 3:20 Monday morning.
Police responded to the area. They located a residence on Park that had been struck by gunshots. There was no one home at the time and no physical injuries were reported.
While there were no injuries, police say they are still taking the incident very seriously.
It's cause for concern in our community when there's gun violence, whether there are injuries or not. We continue to appeal for anyone with information to contact police or to remain anonymous Crime Stoppers.
Police say at this time it isn't clear who did it or why.
When we see incidents like these, they typically are of a targeted nature.
Gun violence continues to be a concern in Waterloo region.
So this will be the 12th shooting incident in Waterloo region this year. There have been no fatal shootings to date.
At this time in 2024, there were 17 shooting incidents in the region. 2 of those were fatal.
Police are asking anyone with information or security footage in the area to contact them. Tony.
Heather, thank you. Appreciate that. A 29-year-old man from Kitchener has non-life-threatening injuries after a stabbing early this morning. Regional police say they were called to a disturbance in the Gracefield Crescent and Kingswood Drive area. This was around 5:30 in the morning. They say the victim was taken to a hospital outside of the region. The investigation still underway. Police say at this time they believe it was targeted. 3 men in their 30s, all from Waterloo, have been charged in a series of thefts from vehicles in Waterloo's Northdale neighborhood. A community alert was put out last week after several vehicles were broken into. Police say the 3 men are facing a slew of charges and they aren't looking for anyone else. Well, now to the death of an 8-year-old boy who was struck by a stray bullet in North York over the weekend. While police search for those responsible, the young victim's mother says she wants her son's name to become a beacon of light for those hoping to stop gun violence in Toronto. CTV's John Woodward reports.
You're the light, you're the night.
Jave Roy's mom shared new pictures and video of him on social media on Monday.
And just a happy little guy, like genuinely a good kid.
A good kid, just 8 years old as he lay in bed with his mom at this building at Martha Eaton Way and Trethewey Drive in the early hours of Saturday morning. His mom wrote in a social media post, "My baby was preparing for one of his best friend's birthday celebrations. He was so excited he couldn't sleep." That's when gunfire began and Jave was hit by a stray bullet. "There was nothing I can do but scream and hold his lifeless little body. I cannot get that image out of my head," Roy wrote. "Remember his name, never forget his name. I promise, baby, your name will not go in vain and everybody will know it and mommy's going to go hard for justice, baby," she said. Roy said she wants Jave's body to be returned to a First Nation on Manitoulin Island.
My name is Jave. I am 6 years old.
Jave was featured only 2 years ago in a video by the One by One movement against gangs.
Being nice.
Hopefully this can be a beacon of light.
One by One's founder, Marcel Wilson, a former gang member himself, said Jave's death should spark change.
That this is finally the point where people are fed up and had enough.
Police haven't released any suspect information so far and are appealing for witnesses. The shooting got the attention of Toronto's police chief, who visited with the Roy family over the weekend, and Toronto's mayor, who vowed action.
It's sad, it's tragic, it's cruel, it's horrendous.
Toronto's year-to-date homicide statistics are down substantially, just 26 so far this year, compared with 54 in the same period last year. Wilson did have words for anyone looking to get revenge.
You want to harm this person because they harmed someone you love. Don't become what they are.
He says that's not what Jave would have wanted. John Woodward, CTV News.
A Brantford daycare that shut down after a dead bat with rabies was discovered inside has been given the green light to reopen. Health officials say the building is now safe to be used for regular operations after an inspection over the weekend. CTV's Hannah Schmidt on this story once again for us tonight, joining us live now with more. Okay, Hannah, let's go through some of the steps that were taken before children were welcomed back today.
Well, Tony, the daycare was given the all clear from Grand Erie Public Health following a full inspection and work done by wildlife crews, which included checking entry points, completing structural repairs, and discarding anything that may have been subject to contamination. Now, the extensive work was completed all in an effort to ensure no bats were left behind and no others could make their way inside.
What started with a deceased bat with rabies inside this Brantford daycare ended with a full public health sweep. Now, children are back inside the classrooms.
My first priority is the safety of the children, and that's how I reacted. We're happy to see the children's faces. It brings a smile across our face.
Creative Minds Daycare confirmed the dead bat was found in a room for preschool-aged children last Monday, and just one day later, there was another sighting of a bat, this time alive and flying around one of the daycare's hallways.
That's when I contracted one of my contractors to come in and seal every hole and crevice in the building as the building is older, and also met with GNC Care, who looked after our deep cleaning.
Parents were alerted to the situation through an app the daycare uses to communicate with caregivers and guardians. Grand Erie Public Health says a small group of people came into direct but low-risk contact with the dead bat, including a child who handled it. They were given precautionary rabies shots, a series of 4 doses.
There was still thankfully no high-risk contact, such as a bite or scratch, that was ever reported during our investigation. The overall risk does still remain low in our region as well as throughout the province.
The daycare temporarily closed on August 13th. Since then, the owner says they had been working with public health officials to take proactive steps.
We're going to move forward with policies and procedures to know what it looks like if we see a bat, what happens, what's the protocol, who to call, and the staff know what to look for.
Over the weekend, a public health inspector went room by room, checking for signs of bat activity and ensuring safety standards are being met.
So the structural modifications were assessed to ensure that any potential entry or re-entry points were now blocked off. The public health inspector also performed all routine inspections from a infection prevention and control compliance standpoint, and all criteria were met.
If you follow the brick all the way to the top, there's a big metal flashing up there. So beneath that flashing, there's a small gap. And keep in mind, they only need about the size of a dime.
Wildlife crews also checked the property, sealing off any entry points and making sure no more bats were inside.
We didn't find any other bats. We seal up the entire perimeter of the building and then install these devices that we've pioneered called one-way doors that allow the bats to exit, but then they can't get back in.
The daycare calls the ordeal a learning process and says moving forward, communication with parents will be front and center. Approximately 145 children are cared for at the center.
Today has been a very supportive day. It also has been a very informative day in the aspect of looking at the things that as a company owner that I may have missed. Their children are the most important thing to them, and we need to make sure that their children are the most important thing to us.
Again, the center is operating as normal. Daycare staff say the safety steps put in place now will remain moving forward, including daily inspections for bats, which will be conducted by staff before children enter the building. Tony.
Okay, CTV's Hannah Schmidt with new reporting on that story for us tonight. Hannah, thank you. And a reminder to stay up to date with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. Local content from our news team right to your email inbox every morning. We've got a look at the day's top stories, the latest weather forecast, and some must-see videos. You can sign up at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Remembering a Six Nations man by bringing one of his dreams to his community. Coming up, the basketball tournament held over the weekend in honor of a man whose life ended far too soon.
I'm Colton Weens in Kitchener, where there's typically 2 guinea pigs out here on this front lawn, but they have gone missing. I'll have more on this story coming up after the break.
And a beautiful but cooler day than we've seen as of late, though the heat and humidity will be making a return later this week. I'll have more on that coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
A woman in Kitchener is asking the community for help in finding 2 guinea pigs that have gone missing. The pets are often outside in cages, and they were well known in the neighborhood. Let's go to CTV's Colton Weens, who's standing by now outside the home on Glasgow Street in Kitchener. Colton, these guinea pigs went missing yesterday?
Yeah, that's right, Tony. The homeowner says she had them outside in this enclosure with a wooden board over top of them, but when she came to check on them, the wooden board had been moved. A cat carrier that was inside the enclosure was missing, and so too were the 2 guinea pigs. Now, Barbara Robinson says her guinea pigs that she's had for 5 years went missing on Sunday. She says her 2 guinea pigs, Rocky and Scotchy, love spending time outside. She moved them to her front yard during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it became a hit in the neighborhood for anyone walking around and wanting to see the animals. She even put out snacks for people to feed the 2 guinea pigs. But since the news got out that the guinea pigs are missing, her neighbors have been sending her caring messages, and some kids have given her cards. Robinson says she's not sure if someone took them by mistake or if they were stolen or what exactly happened to them, but says they are extremely important to her and is asking for them to be returned.
The kids just lose their minds over the guinea pigs. So it's just been a great thing in the neighborhood that it just was a great feature, and a lot of people are really upset. I'm hoping that whoever took them didn't realize that maybe they thought they were just to give away. It's hard to believe because there was a board on top of their thing like there always is, but I'm just hoping whoever took them didn't realize they're precious pets. I've had them for 5 years. They're my babies, and I just want them to come home.
Now, Robinson says she thought about filing a police report but didn't really want to bother the police with trying to find her 2 guinea pigs, and says if someone did actually take them, she just hopes they'll return them. Tony.
Yeah, let's hope they find them. Okay, Colton Weens reporting live for us. Colton, thank you for that. Well, family and friends of a Six Nations man who was shot and killed are keeping his memory alive with a basketball tournament in his name, something he had always dreamed of bringing to his community. CTV's Hannah Schmidt was there for it over the weekend.
On the court in Six Nations, the energy is electric. But this tournament carries more than just competition. It carries the memory of Dylan Isaacs.
Dylan's love for basketball just brought it all to life as to, you know, and it's sad he's not here to see this, but I'm sure his spirit is with us.
The 30-year-old from Six Nations of the Grand River was killed while visiting Florida for an NFL game in January of last year. Isaacs was shot in an alleged altercation with a driver who pulled out a gun. Miami Gardens police questioned a suspect, but so far, no charges.
It's not about the justice that's out of our hands. It's just about keeping his love and everything connected.
CTV News reached out to Miami Gardens police for an update on the investigation. They could not provide any details, saying information will be shared once it becomes available. Isaac's family and friends say the pain hasn't faded, but neither has his passion.
After that, we had the thought to try to push to put the tournament on. We approached family, and it's always something we wanted to do here at Six Nations, so we finally just pushed to do it, said we were going to do it, and we started to get the wheels in motion.
It's all a part of us. To heal as Native people, we heal together.
Teams from across Canada and the U.S. gathered at Six Nations Community Hall over the weekend for the Dylan Isaacs Memorial Basketball Tournament.
He wanted so much to bring the youth a part of this and to build this.
This year, organizers added a youth camp, giving kids new skills, sneakers, and shirts.
The kids themselves, they've said that they want to go play basketball now. So that's all we wanted to do, is give them the opportunity.
Isaacs, nicknamed Teebs, was known for his big frame and even bigger personality. His family says kids looked up to him, and now they hope the tournament will give them something to look forward to every summer.
Our healing will never stop, but this sure helps us get through.
The family says a new tradition is taking root, building community and carrying Isaac's dream forward. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Osh Weekend.
Back live outside we go to Glasgow Street in Kitchener. Beautiful Monday evening, a little bit of a breeze out there and very comfortable temperatures. But Karis is going to be back in a couple of minutes with the full forecast, and she was hinting earlier that we are expecting some rain as we move through this week. So we'll break down all those details for you in just a few minutes. Also coming up, we'll feast our eyes on some choice churros at a Waterloo business that specializes in the fried pastry on this week's edition of Made Right Here. But next, the trade war, taxes, and red tape, what the Premier pushed the Prime Minister on today during a one-on-one in Ottawa.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
All right, Karis Mapp is with us for a look at the forecast. Alex is away today. First time we've been at the desk together.
I know, last time I just missed you, but we said, I'm sure it'll happen, and here we are.
Oh, we knew it was going to happen. One of these days, we knew it would happen, especially with the summertime musical chairs that we go through.
Absolutely.
Now, you are, in the grand scheme of things, newer to CTV than some of us dinosaurs, so I'm going to let you in on a little something. I tend to get a little bit whiny about the humidity in the summer, and it's just kind of a recurring thing in my presentation. But I'm not going to do any whining today, because this is the exact kind of summer day that I get happy about.
I may be relatively new, but we're on the same page there, because I've been told, I get a little whiny as well. I'm so warm, and I hate having to dress to, it's going to be cool in the morning, and then I'm going to be sweating in the afternoon, so today was perfect. I left the house, it was a crisp breeze in the air, I had a big old smile on the face, knowing that fall was coming a little bit sooner.
Let's not get carried away.
I know, we have until the end of September, as I said in the 5, September 22nd, and I'm counting down every day until fall. But for right now, beautiful day, even as we look outside right now. Gorgeous. That's Glasgow Street in Kitchener. The sun's shining, a little bit of cloud coverage, but honestly, you can't find a more beautiful day. There were earlier some people taking a stroll, enjoying that. As you mentioned in that tease, there could be some active wet weather on the way as well. So people really just soaking up that sun. What a beautiful shot there, as we're seeing the clouds are just sparse. It's beautiful. It looks crisp outside. It looks like I could go for a run out there and not feel like I'm going to die of heat stroke, which is always a great feeling. So as we're seeing, still beautiful, just a little bit of breeze. You see the trees moving ever so slightly. So it's just, honestly, it's a dream. It's the perfect day. But as I said, rain is coming. Not necessarily a bad thing. We haven't had too much rain as of late. So farmers, for example, could use some rain on their crops and whatnot. But right now, as we see, 3 a.m. as of Tuesday, cloud coverage is going to start making its way in. That's going to continue to until Tuesday, 11 a.m. Still that same cloud coverage moving in. We're starting to see that weather pattern make its way across, and that's going to hit us around 8, 9 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to be in the midst of that weather storm. Places like London, you're seeing the darker green, Mount Forest, a little bit heavier there, but we will be hit around that time. So if you have plans to be outside tomorrow, maybe don't. Try and pivot that today. There's still a few more hours of sunshine today. And then by Wednesday at 6 p.m., still some scattered showers and that cloud coverage. So it's safe to say that for the next couple days, it's going to be relatively cloudy. Let's look at how much rain we're seeing of getting. Wednesday, 6 p.m., we'll have seen about 8 millimeters in Waterloo region. Not too bad. In London, hitting about 12 millimeters. North of us, 3 millimeters in Orange Sound. So it really just depends where you are. Not a heavy amount of rain, but the rain's coming. Temperature right now, 21 degrees. Nice thing is, it feels like 21, no humidity, so that's great. But we were expected to get up to 23 degrees, didn't quite make it. Normal for this time, it's normally around 24. Back in 1955, 33 degrees, overnight low of 11, close to that normal 13. One thing though, as I said, days are getting shorter. 8:21 is when sunset is expected to happen today. Overnight low, 11 degrees, as I said. Clear skies, which is going to be really nice. Tomorrow, though, we're going to see 24 as an expected high, feeling more like 28. The humidity coming back just a little bit. 70% of showers. There is a risk of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. And looking at your full forecast here, Tuesday, Wednesday, we already talked about that. We're going to see some showers. The sun will return as of Thursday and Friday, a little bit warmer as well, back up to 28. Saturday, Sunday for your weekend, warm, same thing. And then looking at Lambton, Kent, Essex, very similar story as we're seeing right here. Rain these next couple days, but the temperature continuing to increase, hitting 30 degrees on Friday there, 29. So definitely warm temperatures. That humidity that we were complaining about coming back. We're not in the clear for long. Southern Georgian Bay, same thing, pretty much everywhere. We're going to see that rain and potential for rain these next couple days. Sun is going to return. Here, not as high for the weekend, dropping back down to 18 on Monday. So to start next week's work week, it's going to be, again, another cooler day. No complaints there. And now taking a look at our Weather Watcher photo. I just need to preface this with the viewers that write in and send the most picturesque, stunning landscapes. But when this photo came up on our email, I literally laughed out loud. I couldn't stop laughing. This photo comes from Tim Snyder in Kitchener, and he titled the email, "This weather is nuts," saying the chase for the peanut must have been a lot of work, and now the squirrel is too hot to try and make it home, or maybe he's even watching Tim eat some lunch. But that is how I felt last week. It was so hot, I just felt like getting all my food and just laying out where I was. It was so warm.
Oh yeah, the life of a squirrel Nutkin. I know. Anyone? That's an old reference to Beatrix Potter books, by the way. The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin. I don't know if you ever read that one as a child, but I call them Nutkins because I have a love-hate relationship with them.
I feel you. So I hope he's a little bit cooler today and enjoying a nut somewhere else.
I hope so too. Absolutely. Okay. Thanks, Karis. Well, Premier Doug Ford and the Prime Minister sat down in Ottawa today with no deal to end the trade war in sight. They had quite a bit to cover. CTV's Rachel Aiello tells us about Ford's push for Carney to ease the pain for businesses.
What would you like to talk to Mark Carney about today?
Oh, we just have a lot of things.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford arrived on Parliament Hill today with lots to talk to Prime Minister Mark Carney about.
Well, we'll talk about the housing sector, we'll talk about steel, auto, new sectors of the economy, including artificial intelligence, what we're doing in terms of making Canada competitive.
It was their first face-to-face meeting since the latest round of trade talks with U.S. President Donald Trump fell apart.
We know President Trump's unpredictable. We have to find out what we need to do to make sure that we create the environment and the conditions for companies from around the world to continue investing in Canada.
Yeah.
And we'll have that discussion.
I think we're working well together, but we've got more to do and get it done.
Both emerged from behind closed doors an hour later, saying they were on the same page.
Very good meeting with the Premier.
But they were non-committal about any immediate action that would put money back into businesses' bank accounts or ease regulatory burdens while they're still facing tariffs.
We had a great discussion. Nothing happens immediately in that room.
It remains murky where trade talks stand, but for his part, Ford has no plans to travel to Washington anytime soon.
When they need me, I'll be down there, giving my colleague Howard Lutnick a little poke.
Oh, do you think he needs one?
He needs a couple more pokes in me. Don't worry, I'll poke him.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc was in the room for the meeting, but left without answering reporters' questions about the state of negotiations with the Americans. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, the polls close in about 4 hours in an Alberta by-election that could return Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre to the House of Commons.
I don't think he'll do anything for us because he'll just be another puppet.
I think he's perfect to represent this riding.
Poilievre is one of a record 214 candidates vying to win Battle River Crowfoot. It is considered one of the safest Conservative seats in the country. The majority of the other candidates are part of a protest group who want changes to Canada's electoral system. Poilievre is in the running after he lost his Ottawa seat in the April election. Up next, why a new Canadian tariff on stainless steel has some Ontario businesses concerned, and later, the local Olympics observing. The annual Ethel's Tray Race in Waterloo proves to be a big win for the community once again. We'll tell you how it all went down. It wasn't imposed by U.S. President Trump, but a new tariff put in place by the Canadian government has some local businesses and municipal leaders concerned. It's on stainless steel, and as CTV's John Musselman reports, it has some industry experts warning of massive price increases on infrastructure projects.
Stainless Steel is the largest stainless steel distributor in Canada. They don't make it here. It's imported from Taiwan and stored in warehouses like this across the country. At this location in Mississauga, the pipes are cut up, molded, and prepared for use in critical infrastructure projects nationwide.
Water, wastewater, oil, gas, the LNG pipeline, the SMR projects coming up for the OPG power plants, shipbuilding, hospitals, food, beverage, agricultural, farming.
Shane Goff is the company GM. He has warehouses across Canada. He says clients, including municipalities, are facing massive price hikes on stainless steel orders.
I won't say the job, but it was about $2 million of stainless pipe for a plant in Toronto. Now it's going to be about $2.5 to $3 million just for the raw costs. So that's one little project. There's hundreds, thousands of these across Canada.
And Goff says clients and taxpayers, if it's a municipal job, will pick up those extra costs. The issue is related to the Government of Canada implementing tariff rate quotas this summer on imports of steel mill products from non-free trade agreement partners. Quote, this measure will help stabilize the Canadian market and prevent harmful diversion of foreign steel from third countries into Canada while minimizing impacts on Canadian importers and downstream users. But stainless steel is produced on a limited basis in Canada, not enough to meet demand, and Goff says that's why it should be exempt.
I think just about every single client is concerned. A lot of them have taken projects a year ago at lower cost. Now they have to absorb these larger costs.
Industry experts have written both the federal and provincial governments calling for an exemption on stainless steel, which they believe was an oversight when the tariff rate quotas were put in place. John Musselman, CTV News.
Okay, let's update our top stories now. CTV's Leanne Evans joins us in studio with all the latest as Air Canada flight attendants defy a back-to-work order. Leanne, for a second straight day now.
Right, Tony. So the union representing 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants says they will not end their strike without a new deal. Air Canada now says flights will remain grounded until at least tomorrow afternoon. An estimated 500,000 flyers have been left in limbo. Negotiations have not taken place since Friday night, with the union saying Air Canada has not responded to communication. The main issues remain wages and ground pay, meaning work done when the plane is not flying. Police are investigating a shooting in a Cambridge neighborhood. Residents reported hearing gunshots around 3:20 this morning. Police confirm a house on Park Avenue was hit. No one was home and no injuries were reported. Police believe it was targeted, but the investigation is ongoing. This is the 12th shooting in Waterloo region this year.
And from our digital team tonight, Leanne, over on our website, the Kitchener Rangers have just lost a big-name player who they had just signed to the NCAA.
Yeah, exactly. So forward Adam Valentini, who played for Canada's U18 team at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup this year, has revoked his commitment to the OHL team, choosing to play at the University of Michigan this season. The decision comes just 1 week before the beginning of Rangers training camp. You could read more about that story on our website. Scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca for more depth on that story there, Tony.
Okay, yeah, that one just breaking today. Okay, Leanne, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, if you're craving a churro with a twist, Sweet Loop Cafe in Waterloo has you covered with made-to-order vegan-based churros dipped in different flavors. We take a closer look on this week's edition of Made Right Here.
My name is Moon. I'm the owner of Sweet Loop in Waterloo. We specialize in churros, ice cream, and matcha drinks. When I came to Canada, I struggled to find a dedicated churro cafe. So that inspired me to start my churro cafe to share handcrafted churro and quality drinks to my community. We offer a wide variety from Spanish-style dipping churro with sauce on the side to a Mexican-style cinnamon sugar churro. For something more unique, we have fusion-style churro glazed with sauces and toppings. like Dubai churros or s'more churros. For personalized treat, we have build your own churros. So you can build your own churro with your sauce and toppings. Every step we make sure there's consistency in quality to provide the best experience. People like our quality and taste of our churros, drinks, and soft serve ice cream, but we found out it's more than just food. It's a moment of joy or a sweet way to celebrate their special day, something like birthday. We are really happy and proud to provide a little joy to people's day. It is like a dream, like I made my own recipe and they love the churro I created. It's very difficult to describe, but it's very like dream, like happy.
A taste of summertime fun for families who've had a very stressful season. Coming up, Western Canada wildfire evacuees get to enjoy a day at Canada's Wonderland. Wildfires have displaced thousands of people in Manitoba. Some are still waiting in Ontario before they can return back home. Today, a group was treated to a much-needed distraction, a day at Canada's Wonderland. CTV's Rahim Ladani has more.
They're one of thousands of people who have been evacuated from their homes, displaced by wildfires burning in Manitoba, and have been living in Niagara Falls.
Really rough. But I miss the trees, the fresh water, and being out in the lake in our cabin. I miss that. And it's heartbreaking in the city.
While the adjustment has been challenging, getting to ride the roller coasters at Wonderland is a welcome distraction.
I always wanted to be here. I always wanted to come here.
It's a distraction for the grandchildren. I think they're going to really enjoy it.
I'm going to try the scariest roller coaster at least once.
250 members of the Matthias Kalom Cree Nation, also known as Puckatawagan, and members of Nelson House First Nation are at the park today, with possibly another group later in the week. Canada's Wonderland has partnered with Xpera, Canada's largest national risk mitigation firm. Over the last 4 years, this partnership has hosted around 4,000 First Nation members who have been displaced by fires and flooding.
We're here in the business of fun, but we want to put particular effort towards those families who are perhaps going through a hard time and give them at least one day, to look forward to.
Creating joyful memories during a time of hardship. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
More news in a moment. First, let's check in with Churros.
Well, Tony, a crisp yet sunny day. As I mentioned earlier, warmer temperatures are on the horizon. I'll let you know what the weather will be like first thing tomorrow morning. Wake up weather is coming up. Stay with us on CTV. Coming up tonight, E-Talk begins at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory at 7:30. At 8, contestants will test their strength on the American Ninja Warrior, and The Rainmaker begins at 10.
This is your CTV Kitchener, our community calendar. The Waterloo Region Walk for Parkinson's takes place on September 6th. You can take part as an individual or team and help raise funds to support families dealing with Parkinson's. We'll see you next time on Our Community.
Okay, let's check in with Leanne Evans one more time for a look at some stories we're following for later tonight. Leanne.
Tony, we will continue to follow the latest developments on the Air Canada flight attendant strike and the immense impact on air travel here at home and around the world. Also tonight, the province has taken over the board that oversees Grey Bruce Public Health, citing serious concerns about how the organization is being managed. We'll hear from the board chair at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thank you for that. And Churros is here with our wake up weather now. And I guess we won't be into the rain quite yet, but to your point earlier, the gardens, the farms, the lawns, all waiting for a drink.
All wait, like that Luke Bryan song. Rain is a good thing sometimes. I have plans outside tomorrow with my mother, so maybe not. But at 6 a.m. when people are first waking up, it's going to be around 14 degrees, partly cloudy. That cloud is going to increase as the morning goes on, hitting about 19 by 10 a.m. As I mentioned, 24 is a high tomorrow, so it's going to get up there feeling more like 28.
Alex picked a good day to take off today, didn't she?
Exactly, absolutely. But I love filling in. I love bringing good news. Today was sunny, so
it was
and
good
I'm in my
news.
little blue weather dress.
Yep.
I'm all ready for today. Nothing too bad.
Well, we'll end on a good note, too. Finally, for us tonight, a late summer tradition is back for another year in Waterloo.
Bar staff call it Christmas for servers, but it looks more like the Olympics.
Yeah, the annual tray race is hosted by Ethel's Lounge, and it returns to their parking lot in Uptown today. 14 different bars and restaurants sending teams in for this from in and around the region. They compete against each other, as you can see, in a relay race. And the big goal is to win the Golden Tray Race trophy and raise money for charity while having fun.
Absolutely. This year's event supported the Food Bank of Waterloo Region.
We try to choose a different one every year, and one that's local.
How much time till?
And close to someone's heart. And we know that food banks have been struggling in most recent times, so we thought this would be a good opportunity to try and give back to the community that's given so much to us over the past 34 years.
In the end, the Keg emerged the winners, taking home the trophy this year. More than $10,000 was raised for the food bank.
Wow, what a great cause, especially with so many people in need, as we've seen. So this is fantastic. I don't know if I would have the coordination. I served for a little bit. I'm not sure if I could do all of that running around with a tray like that.
I have to tell you, my brother is a restaurant owner and has been in the hospitality and industry for some time. You should see him at Thanksgiving dinner when he's clearing the table. I mean, he's got so many things.
Sometimes I stack them up my arm and my husband goes, oh no, here we go. But trust the process, right?
It's an art. It's an art and a talent. That's our time. We'll be back here tonight at 11:30, right after the CTV National News. Thanks for watching and have a good night.